guys, I'm Michelle. Welcome to Diaz on Deck Travel and Onboard and Unfiltered. And I am so excited. I finally get to sit with Kevin. This is Kevin,
Hi,
everybody. I've known Kevin for a really long time. Like, I'm going to tell you that I saw him looking at cruises when he was 10.
Yeah.
So
Before I had ever even been on one.
So, Kevin, tell us a little bit about your cruising experience and some of the cruises you've done and what you liked about them.
So from when I was a little kid, I think I just had an interest in ships and the sea, and I heard people going on cruises, and I was just like Googling cruise pictures.
He was on the computer showing us cruises
begging
at 10.
to go on one. So we finally went. We went on the Carnival Glory from New York City to Canada. It was a 4-nighter. Loved it. And then from then on, just did constant research, ship pictures, everything. Convinced my family to go on a few more.
He was trying to turn the family into cruiseaholics,
Yes.
like him and I are.
Yes.
I mean, we could talk for hours about cruising, but we promise we won't do that to you. Mostly we're going to talk about Virgin, but let's get some background on your love of cruising. So Carnival was your first cruise, right?
So we started with Carnival, and then about every year from then on, we did a couple Carnival cruises. We did one Norwegian. In college, I did another Norwegian. And then since then, we've started doing Virgin Voyages, which is kind of our current main cruise line. And I think we'll stay with them for now.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what the future holds.
Exactly.
And I would totally be open to trying other ones, but we do really love Virgin.
Right. Well, based on his recommendations and being a travel agent, there's a lot of cruise ships I have to go on. I've got to get off the mainstream. But what's really interesting about Virgin is that they're more of a boutique type resort style cruising. They're trying not to be mainstream. And we're going to talk to you about some of the ways that they are different, right?
Yeah. So they only have 4 ships right now, and their 4th ship is the Brilliant Lady that just recently came out. And when they released Brilliant Lady, they said that this was their 4th and final ship.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I don't know, of course, if that could change down the line. But I think it was a way of saying that they plan on staying as this kind of more boutique cruise line
More
rather
exclusive.
than reaching like the 25, 30 ships that some of the other lines have.
Right. And they stick to their layout is pretty much the same. So if you've been on one, you're going to be a little bit more familiar with going on a different one.
Yeah.
And, you know, just to give you some stats, they're about 110,000 gross tons. They have about 2,700 passengers, right? Oh, they're not passengers. They call your
sailors.
Sailors, exactly. And the crew is about 1,600.
Yeah. Around there.
Yeah.
The other nice feature is that almost all rooms on the ship include a balcony.
Right. About 86%.
Yeah. There are very few interior cabins, and I believe only 1 deck of ocean view cabins.
Okay. And the ships are 17 decks each.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do have a more smaller feel. Like we were talking about how when they first came out, when they released the Scarlet Lady, one of their visions was to design the ships to feel almost like a yacht.
Okay.
So that's why they don't have a really grand atrium.
Right.
They don't have a grand main dining room.
Right.
Which we can talk about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about food because we know food is really important to cruisers, right?
Yeah, but they really tried to make it feel like almost like you're at a hotel, and that their brand stays consistent, so that if we jumped from the Valiant Lady to the Resilient Lady, the experience was essentially the same.
Right.
There are some minor differences with food that they're taking one restaurant and making that different on each ship, so that you can have like a
little variety. Well, we're going to tell you about food because if you've traveled on the mainstream cruise lines, you know there's a buffet and a main dining room. So Virgin has something they call the galley. Tell us about that and what your experience was.
So the galley is essentially your same, like it looks very similar to a standard high up on a higher deck buffet of a regular cruise ship. But instead of a grab and go where you're taking and helping yourself to the food, each station almost has the appearance of like a quick service restaurant or like a food truck style. They actually even have like a little mini like cart, and that's a cart for bubbles and popsicles.
Oh, nice.
but everything is made to order for you specifically.
Fresh.
So when you go into the galley, you have two options. Your first option is you can sit down and order from scanning the code on the table.
Right. And all you have to do is raise the little flag at your table and they'll bring the food to you.
Yeah, they'll
so
come
if you
right
don't
over.
want to do that whole feeling like you're going to a grab and go, they will bring it to you.
Yeah, they will fully serve
Full service.
you, just as a restaurant. But then also, if you are heading out to an excursion and you gotta get out quick, you can go up to the diner and dash station for say, which is one of the fastest ones, and just say, "Hi, I need whatever it is, French toast and bacon," and they'll grab it for you.
Oh, nice.
And I feel like it does make it feel a little bit more elevated because it doesn't
because you're not standing in line behind 100 people with the tongs.
It doesn't have that almost grimy feeling of like everybody's grabbing the tongs before you. And then if you do go to a station, each station is different and they prepare the foods at different speeds for you.
Okay.
They will
made to order.
They will take your order. Yep. Give you a buzzer. And then I don't think we've ever waited more than like 5-10 minutes for the food to be ready.
That sounds awesome.
So it is fast.
Yeah, because a lot of people steer away from the buffet just because of all the lines and the grabbing. So specialty dining. Tell us about that. So at night when you go to dinner, you're not going to a main dining room. You have the option of picking what restaurant. Now, do you need to make a reservation on your app?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think it is 70% of reservations open on the app 60 days in advance, which now with their new booking system, people who choose their top tier of booking get access 60 days in advance. And then if you book the basic fare, you get access to dining reservations 15 days in advance.
Okay.
And then 30% of reservations open when you're on the ship.
Okay.
So that if you were somebody who like did not have time to plan, it's okay.
Because you can actually show up and almost be like on a standby line and just show up. And if you're more flexible with the time you're going to eat, then you're probably going to get in without a reservation.
My parents, a lot of times, if they were dining separately than us for a table for two, they would sometimes walk up and maybe it was a 20-minute wait, but they would give a buzzer and they had no problem.
That's reasonable when you're, with that many sailors.
If we definitely make sure to have reservations.
Yeah.
But overall, the nicest thing about their dining experience is that there are no specialty dining restaurants. So it's
included in your fare. So you're not paying an upcharge on some of the mainstreams where it's anywhere from $49 to $79 if you want to do, let's say, the hibachi or the steakhouse. It's all included. And we're going to talk about some more about what all is included in your fare.
Right.
So that's really nice.
So there are 6 restaurants that are considered their specialty or their main restaurants.
Okay.
However, that is not their only eateries. They do have the galley. They also have a small restaurant by the pool that does like poke bowls and rice and chicken bowls. That's open for lunch also.
So you don't really have to venture far. If you're hanging out at the pool, there's food options. You don't have to like make your way somewhere and totally leave the pool area.
The pizza place is similar to other cruise ship pizzerias.
Is that a 24-hour?
It is, I believe, open till 2 a.m.
Okay. Because who doesn't need pizza at 2 a.m.? I mean, I know that's what I'm thinking about.
And the pizzeria makes very, very good pizzas. Those are also made to order, which is nice. Oh,
nice. Yeah.
And they can give you a to-go box if you want to bring it back
so
to your room, which is another.
To your room. Yeah. Who doesn't want to eat pizza in bed on vacation? Yes. I mean, it sounds awesome. There is a lot of different variety.
Yeah.
It's just not in the main dining room or in the buffet.
Yes.
So you can pick and choose what you want to eat and you can go to these individual places. You don't have to visit like one main dining hall.
Right.
Now, there's no drink package in the Virgin fare. Mm-hmm. So how do they do their drink packages?
So from what we've compared as far as drink price or drink package costs on other cruise lines, I feel like we end up spending about the same amount of money, whether if we were on Carnival getting the drink package or Norwegian versus Virgin, where you only pay for the drinks that you order.
Okay.
And you pay kind of typical prices. I believe the beers were $8, and I want to say cocktails were around 13 or 14,
Okay.
which is pretty
Pretty standard,
comparable
yeah,
to like
on
what
most
you
of
would
them.
get on
Yeah.
land
Because
or
even if
other
you have a
ships.
drink package on a ship, there's a cutoff limit. So if you're ordering a $22 cocktail, you're going to pay the upcharge from like the $14
Right.
top off, because you're now ordering something that's beyond the drink package. So just be aware of that
Right.
when you do get a drink
Um,
package.
so
But they
you,
include sodas. So
yes.
in your, I was about to say airfare. In your cruise fare, they do include Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
right? And they include sodas, coffees, and
Yes.
things of that nature. Now, are specialty coffees included?
Specialty coffees are not.
Okay.
But in the galley, there is a coffee station, and it is pretty standard coffee,
Right.
but you can kind of make your own
So
how
if
you
you
see fit.
buy the drink, and we're going to talk about how you buy a drink package per se. It's not really a package. You could use that, what would you call it? Certificate,
Yeah.
let's say, or onboard monies
Towards
to
specialty
buy a
coffee.
specialty coffee.
100%.
Okay, so if you got to have the latte and the, whatever coffee is your thing, you can get that.
Right.
Okay.
It is nice though having sodas included. Like
Yes.
other cruise lines, sometimes they'll still
They do
charge
not
you.
include sodas. Yeah, unless
so-
you buy like the soda package, right?
Yeah, so you'll get sodas, coffee, tea, things like that.
Do they do like protein smoothies or any of that kind of stuff?
There's what's called the gym and tonic bar by the
Okay,
pool right
gym
next
and
to the
tonic.
gym.
I like it.
And
I'm
they
a gym
do
rat.
include some smoothies,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Nice.
But
So how
yeah,
does it work? Like
so it's called a bar tab.
bar
And
tab.
essentially, it's like opening a tab at a bar.
Okay.
You put money down,
And that goes on your onboard expense account, right?
So it actually is separate. So one of them is called Sailor Loot,
okay.
and that is essentially your onboard credit. So
Okay.
that you can use for like shops or essentially anything on the ship. Bar tab is specifically for
Bar
alcohol,
drinks.
yes,
Okay.
or
Okay.
I believe specialty coffee.
Okay. So wasn't
Um,
it you purchased a certain amount and you got a complimentary
Right.
amount added? Okay.
So I believe it's if you spend 200, they'll give you 25,
okay.
and then it goes up from there. I think if you spend 300, they'll add on 50.
okay.
If you spend
So the more you spend,
the
the
more,
more
they add to
freebies
your
you're going to
tab.
get, and you're going to get more drinks. Now, are they one of the lines where they limit how many drinks
They
you
do
can
not.
purchase? Okay, guys,
So-
they do not limit your drinks. So we're just going to say use
Yes.
caution and your own
Be
discretionary.
careful. Yes. They so you do have to purchase your bar tab before you get on the ship.
Okay.
I think at least 24 hours before.
Okay.
And you cannot get that money back though. So if you're putting 500 down and they're giving you an extra 100, that means you have 600 to spend.
Right.
You must spend that 600.
Right, but on
the
bar
ship.
drinks,
Yes.
not on, you can't, it's not an onboard credit where you can spend your onboard credit on some of the mainstream lines where you can use it in the casino or the
Right.
gift shop.
Right.
This is strictly for bar drinks.
Right. But
Okay.
one of the hacks that I've heard is that if you do end up with money left over, you can use that towards the duty-free bottles of liquor.
Okay, as long
or-
as it's a liquor purchase.
Yes.
Okay,
So
that's
at
not a
the
bad
end,
setup.
If people have maybe 30, 40 bucks left, they'll bring home a bottle of tequila to go
Okay.
home with them and make sure that they use the last
Use
of it.
the last of it.
We've never had a problem trying to use the last of it.
I'm going to say the same here. Not so much on the alcohol package, but usually I wind up with some casino money and I make sure I spend it. So
But if you do have Sailor Loot, which is that onboard credit,
Yeah.
if you run out of bar tab, then they'll start using your Sailor Loot towards anything. So you
Okay.
can apply Sailor Loot.
okay,
towards
so
your
bar
bar tab.
tab is separate from onboard credit.
Yep.
Okay.
It is also, I know a lot of cruise lines are very specific about who has the bar tab, but for us, we've been allowed to split it. Where,
Okay.
Like if I had 600 in bar tab and other sailors in my cabin had nothing, we went to guest services day one and said, hey, we want to split up our tab because we each want to have equal spending amounts, and that was no problem for them
So
to
it's
split.
almost like what the other cruise lines do where you cannot share your drink package. So they almost, in a roundabout way, kind of a
Right.
little hack,
Right.
they will allow the sharing of the,
Right. So
bar
we were
tab.
able to split it and
Okay.
have 300 each.
Yeah,
in
that's
bar
nice.
tab. And then if you wanted to spend on someone else's band, you could. Like if my sister had more bar tab and she's at the bar with me, I could say, hey,
Charge it to her.
Charge it to her, and it's
Okay.
no questions asked. It's not like, oh
Yeah.
no,
It's not
you
like
hit your limit.
the strictness of the sharing of the packages, and you guys know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Okay, so no sale and sign cards. Everything's done on a wristband.
Yep.
Do you like that better than the card?
Yeah, it is nice. Once
Yeah.
it's on, honestly, I just
just
sleep
wear it
with
the whole
on,
time,
and then
yeah.
you forget that it's on for the rest of
That's
the week.
good. That's good because you know how many times I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my card? Is it in my purse? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'll get it when you're older. You just start losing things. So, tell us about the cabins. What's your favorite cabins type on Virgin?
So we have stayed in the Sea Terrace and then also the XL Sea Terrace.
Okay.
We actually got upgraded from a upgrade bid.
Oh, nice.
Which was a nice score. So the XL, I'll start with the XL Sea Terrace.
Okay.
That one was essentially the same size as the standard Sea Terrace, or what would be typically a balcony room
Okay.
on another cruise line.
And they all have hammocks.
Yes,
They all have hammocks, guys. The hammocks
And
sound pretty
They
awesome.
are so nice.
Now, we don't advise, like somebody we know, sleeping out there overnight, but the hammocks are lovely for, your use.
They are
Come on.
lovely. So you'll always have 2 chairs and a hammock.
And a
the
hammock.
balconies are quite spacious. They're not, I know some ships I've been on are kind of short.
Short.
They go pretty deep.
Oh, so it's
that-
a deep balcony.
Yeah, you
okay.
can lay in the hammock, extend out,
Wow.
and put your feet outwards.
That sounds
towards the
awesome. I know
glass.
that's something I'm going to try
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And so the difference with the XLC Terrace was actually the bathroom, which I was like, kind of strange that at first I was like, why did we upgrade for this? Just to get a bigger bathroom. But we ended up having 3 of us in the room, and it really made a world of difference because the toilet was its own room. The shower was its own room.
Oh, it's nice that was separate.
And then the sink was a double wide, but I believe a single sink. So it made getting ready for the 3 of us very easy.
Yeah.
So it really actually did make a big difference.
So no bathroom hogs, right?
Right.
Everybody could, get it done at the
Right.
same time.
And
Yeah.
then all of our other cruises were actually the standard Sea Terrace, which, like I said, is the same exact room. It actually is just a smaller bathroom, and the bathroom is significantly smaller.
Okay.
Which I would say, after having the XL Sea
You
Terrace,
can't go back to the smaller bathroom.
the smaller bathroom is tough. It is
Yeah.
like your classic cruise cabin bathroom.
Right.
It is tight.
Or the shower curtains
Shower,
hitting you. and-
toilet, sink, all
Yeah.
right there. Like,
I cringe
is-
every time I go.
yes.
Sometimes I'll take a short, very inexpensive trip, and the older ships, they have that curtain that's just
Yeah.
touching you,
These
and I'm
have
just
glass,
like,
which
bleh.
it helps a lot.
Yeah, I do
Um,
like a glass shower.
Yes,
yeah,
they have
yeah.
glass, and every shower does have a rain shower head
Oh, nice,
and a
nice.
separate wand. So they are nice, even in the standard. But the standard Sea Terraces, I feel like, have pretty good storage.
Okay.
We actually, one of our stays in a Sea Terrace, it was us and 2 other people, so we had a cabin of 4, and it was definitely tight, but we made do. I mean,
I've been in a cabin for 4 where there's 2 bunks that
Yes,
fall out
that's
of the.
what we had,
But you
yes.
make it work, guys.
We
You
made
make
it
it work
work.
depending on what level you're cruising at. Now there's a rock star level,
Yes. So
Okay,
Virgin
what's that
has
room
what's
like?
called the Rockstar and the Mega Rockstar.
mega rock star.
So Rockstars is essentially a suite.
Okay.
They have larger rooms, larger bathrooms. Some of them have record players.
Oh,
like
nice.
Some really cool.
Now, do they
funky,
come with like an attendant, like your own personal
So the
butler
Mega
service?
Rockstars that is like your ultra suite experience,
Okay.
similar to the other cruise lines that they
Okay.
have, where you have a butler,
A butler service, yeah.
Um,
Concierge service where they make sure
concierge.
that they're booking your tours
Yep.
and they're taking care of your dinner plans.
Yeah,
And
you have a fully stocked bar in your room that they will replenish as you drink things, so you don't need to get a bar tab.
yeah, that's awesome.
If you're a Mega Rockstar, you don't need to make dining reservations. If you just want to go to Pink Agave, which is one of the Mexican restaurants, you can just tell your butler, and they'll take you right down, and they
That's
reserve special
wonderful.
tables for Mega Rockstars.
I don't know about you, but Virgin is sounding to me like they are a cut above on customer service, the rooms, just all the amenities.
So we've had a few little things, nothing crazy, but their customer service every time we have experienced it has been really top notch, and
Yeah.
they make it feel personal, which is really
Right.
nice.
Tell us about the personal invitation. They got a personal invitation for an exclusive event. Tell us about that.
So the Virgin Voyages crew members, they don't necessarily have your typical entertainment.
Right. There's no cruise director.
Right.
There's a happenings.
They're called
staff.
a happenings cast, and they each have their own role or title. So there's, for example, the artist who handles art. There's the gamer who handles games around the ship. There's the hype who goes to all the bars and clubs and gets people excited.
Nice.
So we had at the first night met who was called the foodie, and she invited us to one of her personal events that they're allowed to host around the ship and invite sailors that they seem to enjoy.
To click with. Yeah, nice.
So we had met her at the pajama party, and she was like, hey, come to my dinner during the week. We'll send you a private invite to your cabin. And we were like, we don't know what this is. She was like, it really
kind
is
of
private.
Exclusive
It's an
exclusive event.
So we ended up going, and it was us. She was allowed to invite 10 sailors from around the ship, and she hosts that once per sailing. And other cast members are allowed to host their own events that they can invite people to privately. And essentially it was just a dinner with her and the other sailors that she invited. And what they did was we got a drink included, and then we went to Pink Agave, which was the Mexican restaurant, which is so good.
I love Mexican.
It is like elevated Mexican.
Okay.
And it is amazing.
Awesome.
So they essentially served us every dish on the menu.
Oh, wow. So it was almost like a tasting menu.
Yes.
Okay.
And what's cool about the Virgin Voyages restaurants is that a lot of cruise ships will have a massive galley towards the bottom of the ship, and they'll ship the food all over through escalators and elevators.
Oh, wow.
So maybe like Deck Zero will have a mega galley.
Okay.
Virgin, every restaurant has its own
galley. Oh, wow.
So
that makes the food so much fresher and so much more exclusive to whatever the event is.
Yes. Yeah. So you can see the kitchen right there. It is coming right out. That's not
wonderful.
Coming out of the plastic
because
covers.
On mass produced, I mean, you got to give it to them. They're cooking for 5,000 people.
It's still good on those
in a main
ships.
Dining room, but this is like made to order. It's fresh.
Yes.
It's yours.
Right. So we had a really nice time with her. It was just an overall fun experience. We had, I believe, a little over a 2-hour dinner, got to try everything on the menu, got some drinks out of it. And that's
now, had you paid for, like, on some of the mainstream cruise lines, you can do like a chef's table, a tasting menu, and that is pretty pricey. So the fact that you could get an invitation just makes it a much better value. Right. Overall, there's so much value there, and we're going to talk about value too.
But some other restaurant highlights that were not specialty invites. They have what's called the test kitchen, and the test kitchen is essentially a wildly experimental kitchen.
Okay, so they're testing to see what the sailor's response is on certain food items.
Sort of. It's almost like the feel in there is almost like sitting in a science lab. It's all white. It's all white.
Okay,
they have
totally
the
experimental
table on the walls.
Wow.
And you get 6 small courses of like insane things that you wouldn't imagine, like venison with chocolate on top, or like smoked mushrooms with egg, just like crazy things.
Weird combinations.
Right.
So one of the big misconceptions that people have about cruising is, there's nothing to eat. How long have we been talking about food right now? So guys, there is plenty to eat.
And I can go on and
I'm sure. Well, we're going to go on and on on some other things, but question for you. What do you think about Virgin not including their gratuities anymore?
So that actually really surprised me.
I was surprised too, because that was what they were saying set them apart, that they were a more all-inclusive, boutique style. And now they're like, we're going to tell you to pay extra in gratuities.
I feel like so their cruise line is an American cruise line, even though Virgin originated in the UK.
Right.
So I at first was like, wow, they're really keeping that kind of European vibe of the no gratuities.
Right.
They're
Because
not charging
in,
for
like, if you go to Italy, for
Yeah.
example, they look at you like you are nuts if you try
Right.
to tip them, because they include, I mean, I'm not going to say they hike the prices up, but they feel like their prices sustain what they're looking for.
Exactly.
So they're not expecting a gratuity.
Exactly.
And sometimes they find it actually insulting,
Right.
but different culture.
So I was doing some research, and essentially what they're doing here is they are showing you the amount of money that is going towards gratuities, and you can pay it up front. So part of me is like, it is a change, but
It was an attraction to sailing with them
Right.
for a lot of people,
Right.
because it's like, oh, this is an all-inclusive, not a land tour, but it's an all-inclusive.
Right.
Yeah.
It did give the more all-inclusive feel
Right.
with the Wi-Fi included, all specialty restaurants included. However, if you pay them up front and then forget about it after that, you could kind of think of it as,
It does
hey,
make it feel
they're
more
still-
all-inclusive.
They're still
Right.
included
Instead of that bam on your tab at the
Yeah,
end.
so
Yeah.
I think we'll certainly cruise with them again. I don't think that's a deal breaker.
Right.
But I think we would make sure to prepay gratuities
Right.
at booking, so that we feel like it's just a part of the booking fare.
Right. Right.
Pretend like it used to be.
But still, it's a really good value considering everything you get, even
Right.
though they're charging
Right.
separately for gratuities.
And there was no, in the past at least, I never felt like there was a moment where the crew expected a gratuity.
Right.
They, I will say, have stood out as some of the just most enjoyable crew on any of the ships.
Nice. Virgin has a reputation for really treating their employees
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So that's where the whole gratuity thing was not included, but it's minor in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
One of the things that we do want to tell you is that when you do the foreign ports like
Mhm.
Europe, they stay overnight. You are not rushed for a couple hours here and then you go to the next port a couple hours there. What was your favorite port to stay over in and why?
So
Pick one.
I would say almost the majority of their European voyages have at least one overnight on the itinerary,
That is
which
amazing.
is amazing
Because nobody's doing that
Yes.
anymore, really. I mean, I thought it was a big deal to stay overnight in the Bahamas just so we didn't have to rush back from Atlantis, but I would rather stay overnight in Europe.
it is
Yeah.
so cool. So our last one actually was called the Celebration Voyage, and we did not get an overnight on that because it was a
Oh.
repositioning.
A repositioning.
But we did two other European ones. The first, so my favorite overnight port, I think I would say Ibiza, Spain,
Mhm.
but the very close runner-up was Mykonos in Greece.
Okay.
And I feel like they select these kind of iconic islands, and they choose the ones with the most nightlife
Okay.
for their overnight.
For the overnight.
And they just make it a really, really cool feeling of the whole ship is lit up when it's in port there.
It's got a great vibe.
It has
right?
a really, really great vibe.
And if you're not somebody who's looking for the nightlife and you do a tour or you go off on your own, it's nice to not have to be,
rushed.
constantly
Yeah.
watching the time and, worried about being a pier runner.
Right.
So,
So we pulled into our Mediterranean cruise. We pulled into Ibiza Friday, and the ship didn't leave until 4 p.m. Saturday.
that's
So
awesome.
we had
So you even had time, if you wanted to, in the morning
the next day.
to the next
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
amazing.
actually we went out the Friday night. Ibiza is known for their nightlife, so we went to bars, clubs, everything, stayed out pretty late. The ship docks right near the old town, so it just felt like staying at a nice hotel right
wow,
there.
that sounds great.
And then the next day, we still had a whole nother day there. So then we were able to go to the beach and do some more relaxing there
Right.
after we did our exploring the day before.
That sounds so
Yeah.
much
And
more relaxing than just having a couple of hours.
yeah. And
yeah.
our time in Mykonos was essentially the same. We got in on a Friday early morning,
Mhm.
and the ship left on the earlier side the following day. I want to say 2 or 3 p.m. on Saturday to
Okay.
get back to Athens by Sunday morning. But even so, having all day Friday and then an overnight and then Saturday morning was just really, really nice.
Nice.
We spent Friday at the beach, and then Friday night we were able to go out, enjoy, have like a on We did a restaurant in the old town of
Right.
Mykonos.
It
go
just gives a
out.
whole different vibe too. It's a more relaxing
Yes.
excursion, cruise, and everything in general.
And of course, if you don't want to go out to eat and try a local restaurant, you have your amazing restaurants on the ship.
Right on the ship.
But
so
it
if
is
you want to
kinda-
enjoy the ship while everybody else is gone, that's
Right.
also an option.
It is
too.
just really cool to be like, we're all the way in Spain or Greece, and we do want to go have some authentic meals and
Right.
stuff like that.
And
so you have the
experience a
time
little bit
to.
of the culture.
Yes.
Yeah. Because people think, oh, you cruise, you don't experience any culture. Well, I
Right.
get off the ship in ports and
Right.
I'm planning Europe next year. And so that's going to be really cultural. But it's really what you want to do on a cruise.
Yes.
And there's something for everyone.
Mhm.
So you being somebody who, is a person that I trust your judgment and being a travel agent, I definitely have to do Virgin. So
You would
I
love it.
book it, but I don't really have a personal experience. So I'm planning for that next year amongst a bunch of other things. But I do want to ask you, what do you think your next cruise will be?
So this year is a pretty busy year, and I don't even know if we're gonna get on one, which is
Maybe
devastating.
27.
And I know that sounds dramatic. But
It is. When you're a cruiser, it
When
is
you're a
dramatic
cruiser,
not to
that's
have
dramatic.
a cruise on the books.
Yes, but for 27, I've been looking already at a ton of Virgin options. They sail from San Juan, Puerto Rico in the
Yeah.
winter now, so that's one of my bucket list
Yeah.
options because they do that Southern Caribbean route.
Right.
And they don't have overnights, but they stay in some of those islands till almost midnight.
Okay.
So you
So
have
that's
plenty
pretty good.
of time.
That's a lot of time. Yeah.
And then they've added a few more newer European routes. They kind of started out with their they had some of their like iconic routes. They have what's called the Fire and Sunset Soiree from
Mhm.
Miami to Key West and Bimini, which was like their classic. Then they had what was called the Irresistible Med, which was from Barcelona, and then the Greek Glow.
So they're almost themed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now they've been kind of branching out from those. They still have those, but now they're trying to throw in some more unique ones. They're throwing in some more repositioning cruises.
Well, I think they're pretty unique as it is because they have the Scarlet Night party
Right.
and they have some other parties, which we'll go into in another time because there's a lot of parties. But one of my questions that I wanted to ask you, because, you and I, we talk cruises all the time. What do you think about some of the crazy cruise stories that are coming out
God.
on mainstream cruising? Like people are fighting over chicken nuggets. I'm sure you've never seen anything like that on Virgin. And again, don't forget, Virgin caters to 18 and above. So that does eliminate some of the chaos that's going on with some of the younger folks. I personally haven't witnessed any of that. I'm probably asleep by the time these things happen. But what do you think about the crazy cruise news?
It is crazy, and I feel like realistically, those things happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Whether-
True. On land or sea.
whether you're at a bar.
Yeah. So don't think,
restaurant,
cruising is just full of,
crazy
chaotic.
people. Yeah.
But some of the fights that are erupt or that you hear about are ridiculous. There's food everywhere. You don't have to fight about that.
Oh yeah, once food is involved, it gets crazy. But even so,
well, it gets crazy with alcohol too, especially on these short booze cruises.
Yes.
And that's where things seem to escalate because everybody is on this challenge. Oh, my drink package. I paid for it. It has 15 drinks. Well, I've never drank before, but I'm going to have 15.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
From our experience, we have never seen an issue.
Neither have I.
And I'm hoping that stays
That
the
stays the
case.
same way.
But I can't guarantee that. I mean, that could happen on any ship, any cruise line. It just takes
can
one
happen on a
person to
land
lose it. Yeah.
anywhere. It's not funny, but it is funny because, we can't make this stuff up.
Right.
Cruise news is crazy people doing crazy things, but us normal people, we don't want those people on our ship. So when they get banned for life, I don't know about you, but I'm okay with it.
One thing I will say while we're on the topic of Virgin is that given that it's 18 plus, it does kind of have a more mature vibe. Like
right,
there's
not
really,
a booze cruise vibe.
Yes, and
yeah.
you don't have kids around, so it kind of allows them to do things that are more adult. Like I wouldn't say they push the limits too far.
Right.
but it really is
Well, because there is no limit.
right. Like there really is. It's up to you. Like
Right.
if you want to make it a more chill trip, they have a lot of chill spaces
Right.
on the ship. And if you want to go wild, like you can go to the Manor, which is their 2-story nightclub, and it is packed every night with like light up shots and everything. Like they
Right.
have they can
The
go,
party vibe.
right?
Totally.
And they go both ways, so
Right.
it is totally whatever you
want to make it.
want to make of it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, but I definitely want to experience Virgin for myself. And I am so glad that you joined me today.
Thank you
Again,
for having
everybody,
me.
of course. And again, everybody, this is Kevin. And I mean, like I said, we could go on for hours, but you're either a lover or a hater of cruising, and we are both lovers.
Yes.
So bye for now. I hope you found this information enjoyable. If you like the channel, please remember to subscribe. And I'm sure I'm going to have Kevin on again, probably not face to face, but we're going to figure out how to do the podcast thing because, remember, I'm new to technology and this guy's a pro. Well, bye for now. And remember, we will see you on deck.
See ya.